Famous face, familiar story, right? Not quite. Beneath the fame are the untold details, the strange facts, the moments you never saw coming. It's time to look a little closer, sit back, relax, and let's dive into the unexpected.
Before he became a global action star, Vin Diesel, born Mark Sinclair, worked as a telemarketer, a job that played a surprising role in shaping his early career. In his early 20s, long before the Fast and Furious franchise made him a household name, Diesel was a struggling actor trying to break into the film industry in New York City. Like many aspiring performers, he needed a way to pay the bills while pursuing his passion. Telemarketing became his day job, and he turned out to be exceptionally good at it. Diesel sold tools over the phone, and his commanding voice, confidence and persistence helped him excel. He has even mentioned that during his time in the role, he became the top salesman at the company, earning enough money to finance his own short film Multifacial in 1995. That semi-autobiographical film, about a biracial actor struggling to find work, went on to be accepted into the Cannes Film Festival, and it caught the attention of none other than Steven Spielberg, who later cast Diesel in Saving Private Ryan. In a twist of fate, the very job that seemed miles away from Hollywood glamour ended up giving him the financial independence and communication skills to jumpstart his career. Diesel has credited telemarketing with teaching him about rejection, persistence, and how to connect with people using just his voice, skills that translated directly into his screen presence and acting success. Far from a detour, it became a critical stepping stone on his path to stardom.
A little-known fact about John Lennon is that he was a keen artist long before he became a musician, and he almost pursued a career in visual art rather than music. From an early age, Lennon showed a talent for drawing and a sharp sense of humor, often combining both in satirical sketches and cartoons. His Aunt Mimi, who raised him, encouraged his artistic side, and he eventually enrolled at the Liverpool College of Art, a rare path for a working-class young man in the 1950s. While Lennon is remembered for his revolutionary role in the Beatles and his solo music, he never stopped drawing. Throughout his life, he produced whimsical illustrations, ink sketches and cartoons, many of which were filled with surreal humor and wordplay. His drawings were compiled in several books, including In His Own Right, 1964, and A Spaniard in the Works, 1965. Both of which were published during the height of Beatlemania and showcased a side of him that was both literary and visual. Art remained a private refuge for Lennon. He often sketched while traveling, during studio sessions, or while spending quiet time at home. His work was deeply personal and laced with absurdity, puns, and political subtext reflecting the same sharp wit and rebellious spirit found in his music. After his death, many of his original drawings were displayed in exhibitions around the world, revealing a layer of his creativity that many fans never knew existed. For Lennon, visual art wasn't just a hobby, it was another way to express the wild, restless mind behind the music. Before becoming a global superstar in wrestling, film, and business, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson once seriously considered a career in the CIA. Long before his days in the WWE ring or on movie sets, Johnson was a college student at the University of Miami, where he played Division I football as a defensive lineman. At one point during his academic journey, he became deeply interested in criminal justice and law enforcement, with a particular fascination for federal agencies. The Central Intelligence Agency caught his attention, and for a while, he considered pursuing a path in intelligence work. However, the reality of the requirements for joining the CIA began to settle in. Johnson learned that in order to qualify for many intelligence positions, especially those involving investigations or covert operations, a law degree or advanced legal training would often be required. This would have meant several more years in school, something that didn't align with his situation at the time. He eventually changed majors, earning a degree in criminology and physiology, but his brief consideration of life as a CIA operative reflected his early desire to serve in a role that demanded discipline, loyalty, and mental toughness. Interestingly, his interest in law enforcement never entirely faded. Over the years, Johnson has often portrayed lawmen, special agents, and military personnel in films, roles that echo the career he once imagined. He's also expressed great respect for members of the military and law enforcement in real life, frequently supporting veteran causes and first responders. While his life took a wildly different turn, the idea that Dwayne Johnson once envisioned himself in the shadowy world of intelligence offers a glimpse into a very different version of the man who would eventually become one of the most charismatic and successful entertainers in the world.
Many people assume that Ringo Starr was with the Beatles from the very beginning, but in truth, he was not the original drummer for the band. The Beatles' first full-time drummer was Pete Best, who joined the group in 1960 when they were preparing for a residency in Hamburg, Germany. Best performed with John Lennon, Paul McCartney and George Harrison during their formative years, playing countless grueling shows in Germany and Liverpool that helped shape the band's early sound. Pete Best remained the drummer until August 1962, when he was suddenly dismissed from the band. The reasons for his departure have been debated for decades. Some point to his quiet, reserved personality that didn't mesh well with the others, while others cite concerns about his drumming ability in the studio. Producer George Martin had expressed doubts about Best's skill and preferred to use a session drummer for recordings. Ultimately, the band and their manager Brian Epstein made the difficult decision to replace him. Ringo Starr, born Richard Starkey, was already known in the local Liverpool music scene as the drummer for Rory Storm and the Hurricanes. He had occasionally filled in for Best and had even played with the Beatles a couple of times before being asked to join permanently. Ringo officially became the band's drummer just weeks before they recorded their debut single, Love Me Do. His unique style, steady rhythm and easygoing personality quickly made him an integral part of the group, both musically and personally. Though he joined after their initial rise, Ringo's impact on the Beatles was significant. His creative drumming and quiet charisma added a distinct flavour to the band, and he became a beloved figure in his own right. His later success as a solo artist and actor further solidified his place in music history, but it's often forgotten that when the Beatles first set out on their journey, someone else was sitting behind the kit.
A lesser-known facet of Taylor Swift's prolific songwriting career is that she has written songs under a pseudonym for other artists, choosing at times to conceal her identity so the focus remained on the music rather than her fame. One of the most notable instances of this occurred in 2016 when she co-wrote the hit song This Is What You Came For by Calvin Harris featuring Rihanna. Instead of using her real name in the credits, Swift chose the pseudonym Nils Sjöberg, a name that was completely unfamiliar to the public and music industry alike at the time. Swift later revealed that the choice was intentional. She wanted the song to be judged on its own merits without the distraction or added weight of her celebrity persona. It was also a way for her to maintain creative flexibility and experiment with genres that were outside her typical style. This Is What You Came For was a dance pop anthem far from the singer-songwriter and country pop roots she was best known for, and the Alias gave her a chance to step outside of her expected boundaries without fanfare or scrutiny. The revelation that she was behind the song only came months later, during a period when Swift and Harris had ended their relationship. It sparked widespread media coverage and debate, especially because Harris had initially downplayed Swift's role in the track's creation. Yet the incident only reinforced what her fans and fellow musicians had long known, that Swift was not only a performer, but an immensely versatile and strategic songwriter, capable of crafting hits in multiple voices and styles. Taylor Swift's use of a pseudonym also highlights her understanding of the music industry and the weight of her own brand. Even at the height of her fame, she sought ways to let the music speak for itself. It's a subtle but powerful reminder that her songwriting talents run deep, and that not every Swift-penned song comes with her name front and center. In fact, there may be more Taylor Swift creations out there than the world even realizes.
One of the most admirable and little publicized aspects of Keanu Reeves' life is his quiet and consistent donations to hospitals and cancer research, often done without drawing attention to himself. Unlike many celebrities who make publicized charitable efforts, Reeves has earned a reputation for his deep humility and discretion when it comes to giving back. It's widely known among those close to him and within the film industry that he has donated millions of dollars, particularly to causes related to cancer treatment and children's hospitals. Reeves' commitment to cancer research is personal. His younger sister, Kim Reeves, battled leukemia for many years. During her long fight with the disease, Keanu not only supported her emotionally and financially, but he also began quietly funding cancer research behind the scenes. Reports have surfaced over the years indicating that Reeves even established a private foundation, one that he never attached his name to, dedicated to helping fund children's hospitals and cancer research organizations. In interviews, he has briefly mentioned it, saying,
"I have a private foundation that's been running for 5 or 6 years, and it helps aid a couple of children's hospitals and cancer research. I don't like to attach my name to it. I just let the foundation do what it does."
Beyond formal donations, Reeves is also known for generous, often unpublicized acts of kindness within his professional life. He has been reported to share portions of his salary with crew members, stunt teams, and makeup artists on various films, particularly on projects like The Matrix, where he is said to have given away millions of his earnings to reward the behind-the-scenes teams for their hard work. His generosity stems not from image building, but from genuine compassion and gratitude for the people around him. Keanu Reeves' philanthropic work is a rare example of quiet generosity in the spotlight, and it has only deepened the admiration many have for him. He doesn't seek recognition or headlines. His giving is personal, purposeful, and profoundly human. In a world where celebrity charity often comes with cameras, Reeves chooses to give without expectation, embodying a quiet dignity that mirrors the calm strength of many of the characters he plays.
One hard-to-believe fact about Donald Trump is that in the 1990s, he nearly bought the entire Playboy brand, including its magazine, clubs, and licensing empire. While Trump has long been associated with wealth, glamour, and media, few know just how close he came to owning one of the most iconic adult entertainment empires in the world. At the time, Playboy was struggling to maintain its cultural relevance, and Trump saw an opportunity to expand his already sprawling business portfolio, which included casinos, real estate, and beauty pageants. Negotiations reportedly took place between Trump and Hugh Hefner's representatives, as Trump considered leveraging Playboy's brand in tandem with his own luxury image. The idea was to take Playboy's reputation for sensuality and wrap it in Trump's version of opulence, upgrading clubs, developing branded hotels, and possibly even integrating it with his Atlantic City properties. Ultimately, the deal fell through, likely due to conflicting visions for the brand and potential public backlash. The notion that Trump, who later aligned himself with conservative political circles and evangelical voters during his presidency, once contemplated buying and revitalizing Playboy, may seem contradictory. It highlights the often unpredictable and opportunistic nature of his business approach, driven more by branding and profit than ideology. While the deal never materialized, the fact that it was even considered adds another surprising chapter to Trump's long, unconventional path through fame, business, and politics.
One of the most harrowing and lesser-known experiences in Benedict Cumberbatch's life occurred in 2005 when he was kidnapped and held at gunpoint in South Africa. At the time, Cumberbatch was filming the BBC miniseries To the Ends of the Earth, a production set in the early 19th century. During a break in filming near KwaZulu-Natal, Cumberbatch and two colleagues, actress Denise Black and her husband Paul, decided to take a drive along the rural South African roads. What started as a casual evening turned into a life-threatening ordeal. While driving, they experienced a flat tire, and as they were attempting to fix it, 6 armed men appeared and ambushed them. The assailants forced them into the back of their own car, tied their hands with shoelaces, and drove them off the main road into the remote countryside. The captors threatened them at gunpoint, and Cumberbatch later described how he was deeply aware of the real danger they were in. He feared they were going to be executed and dumped in the wilderness. After being driven around and held for several hours, the group was eventually released unharmed, though deeply shaken. Cumberbatch later recalled the experience as one that profoundly changed his view of life and mortality. He said that he tried to stay calm and appeal to the kidnappers' sense of reason during the ordeal, knowing that panic could make things worse. In interviews, he described how the moment made him reflect on the value of life and how you have no idea what you're capable of until you're in that situation. The incident never became a major media story at the time, partly because Cumberbatch wasn't yet a global star. But in hindsight, knowing the calm and composed demeanor he's known for today, the story adds remarkable depth to his character. It's a chilling reminder that even celebrities aren't immune to real-world danger, and in Cumberbatch's case, it's a testament to how he's carried those formative, frightening moments with quiet resilience.
Morgan Freeman's journey to stardom is a powerful reminder that success doesn't always come early or easily. Despite having immense talent and a distinctive voice that would one day become iconic, Freeman didn't receive his major acting breakthrough until he was nearly 50 years old. Before that, he spent decades building his career through a mix of theatre, smaller television roles, and supporting parts in films, often going unrecognized by the mainstream audience. Freeman began acting in the 1960s, working in theatre productions and appearing in educational children's programming like The Electric Company in the 1970s. Although these roles helped him hone his craft and gain some visibility, they did not lead to immediate fame. For years, he worked steadily but quietly, largely outside of the spotlight, with occasional critical recognition that didn't translate into broader opportunities. It wasn't until the late 1980s, with roles in films like Street Smart and Driving Miss Daisy, that Freeman truly caught Hollywood's attention. His performance in Street Smart earned him an Oscar nomination, while Driving Miss Daisy showcased his warmth, dignity, and depth to a wider audience. By the time he appeared in Glory and Lean on Me, he had become a respected, bankable actor, finally achieving the recognition he had long deserved. Freeman's rise to stardom in his 50s is often cited as an example of perseverance and passion. He didn't give up when success didn't come quickly. Instead, he built a body of work, refined his voice and presence, and waited for the right roles to align with his talent. Today, Morgan Freeman is considered one of the most revered actors of his generation, not in spite of his late breakthrough, but perhaps because of the patience, resilience, and experience that shaped it.
One hard-to-believe fact about Elon Musk is that he once ran a nightclub out of his college house to pay rent, despite being famously introverted and not particularly interested in partying. During his time at the University of Pennsylvania in the early 1990s, Musk and his roommate Adeo Ressi rented a large off-campus house. Instead of taking on typical student jobs, they decided to turn their rented home into a makeshift nightclub to earn money. On weekends, they would clear out the furniture, bring in massive speakers, and charge people at the door, sometimes hosting hundreds of students at once. Ressi handled most of the party logistics, while Musk took on the role of tech guy and financier. Interestingly, Musk rarely participated in the social side of the events. He would often be found in his room, reading, coding, or studying while the party raged on downstairs. This entrepreneurial stunt was one of Musk's earliest examples of creative problem-solving, blending unconventional thinking with a drive to financially support his ambitions. What's striking is that even in a highly social setting meant for fun and noise, Musk remained focused on learning and working, traits that would come to define his later success with companies like Tesla, SpaceX, and Neuralink. The fact that one of the world's most forward-thinking engineers once helped run a college nightclub to stay afloat is a strange but true part of his origin story. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed diving into the lesser-known side of these celebrities, but the story doesn't end here. Next up, we're pulling back the curtain on celebrities both past and present. You won't want to miss. Stay tuned.